it's usually deep into the night when I make my best discoveries. So we're well past midnight right now, and I just stumbled upon the greatest trio that I came across in a long while when it comes to fruity fragrances in my collection. Hi everyone, I'm Meliora. Welcome to my channel. I got a beautiful tale of 3 apples for you. You might ask, why apples? Why in December? I'll tell you why. I find that it's kind of like, not that the seasonal fragrances are really that well stipulated. It's all very subjective. It depends where you live, what kind of associations you might have with winter months. And sometimes it's even refreshing to have some kind of like juxtaposing or contrasting fragrances that kind of go against the grain or remind you of summer, remind you of like a tropical vacation. That said, not many fruits have this beautiful kind of rebirth when it comes to very cold and very warm seasons. I find that apple is one of the fruits that almost reinvents itself when it comes to summer versus the winter. So I don't know about like how it is in your family or your community, but like when I was a child, like we would eat fresh apples when it was summer, and it was all about the juicy kind of the sweet sour kind of apples, the sweeter the better. And in winter we would make apple pies with all kinds of sour apples. And that, you know, like the really hot, juicy apple pie with a little bit of whipped cream or even sour cream, this is something that I very joyfully, and maybe cinnamon, this is what I really associate with kind of joy of winter holidays. So, I thought that I had plenty of fruity fragrances, and I do to a certain extent, but it turns out I don't have a lot of apples. And when I started kind of digging through, I realized that maybe going through like a literal search of base notes or Fragrantica or you name it, any kind of like big aggregator of fragrance database, is not the best way. Because the nose sometimes plays kind of tricks on me, and I found 3 fragrances that don't necessarily feature apples as a prominent note at the beginning or the heart, but they definitely, like most definitely, give me a very crisp, juicy apple kind of impression, which I think goes beautifully when it's hot weather and just rings, it sings in the cold, kind of freezy type of weather as well. All right, first things first. This is the one that might even like ruffle some feathers, I don't know, but this is L'Artisan Parfumeur Haute Voltage. I've been corrected more than once by various people when I reference that this to me is metallic apples, and people, you know, go like, what are you talking about? This is granite, apples are in Deliria. Yes, but I feel metallic apples in Haute Voltage just as well. It's this typical kind of like the berry type of somewhat sour sweetness that goes into this that really makes this blossom, but yet it's really supported by very sharp, sturdy kind of metallic notes that I feel. It's kind of it's like electrified apples in a way for me. The second one, which actually gave me the idea for this video, I've been prepping my review of Etat Libre d'Orange, and I have so many fragrances, I don't even know how to film that. Just doing like 20 seconds per fragrance, I don't think is the most useful, and it gets tiresome when you like surpass 10 plus fragrances, so maybe I'll split it into parts, I don't know. But anyway, I have actually 2 samples of the same perfume here. This is called I Am Trash, and as far as I know is dedicated to kind of wastefulness of perfume industry, like how, like in just industry in general, just how much stuff gets put in the landfills, and how wasteful is the production of a lot of natural ingredients as well in perfume industry. And if you're not a faint-hearted kind of person, look up their advertisement videos. It's pretty disgusting. And for the longest time, I was held back by that very marketing ploy. État Libre d'Orange is all about shock. They basically ride the wave of shock marketing. Some people love it, some people don't. I'm not the biggest fan of shock marketing. Maybe I'm just a bit, I don't know, maybe I'm all boring and old-fashioned. Probably there is some truth to it. But I kind of like a lot of things that they advertise are a bit too much for me, that it kind of takes away from me being able to even fully experience the fragrance itself. But I Am Trash definitely falls into that category. And only within the last week, when I finally revisited it and did a little bit of like kind of blind, closed eyes kind of testing of different blotters, I realized this is the most beautiful candy sweet type of apple. It's not too much candy, it's just that, you know, like there are different kinds of apples and some of them are juicier and sweeter than others. This is so good. Probably, yeah, I can't quite pinpoint the particular type of apple that it is. It's just like one of those juicy, sweeter type of apples. I fell in love with it. To me, it's actually not as shocking as Haute Voltage would be, or even Deliria by L'Artisan Parfumeur. So in many ways, I Am Trash, and let me find the sample here. In many ways, this is a more wearable, charming version of a niche interpretation of an apple-centric fragrance than Haute Voltage. Haute Voltage is definitely the most unique, the most unusual, and I would say the longest lasting of the three here. So I was a bit split on which one, you know, I like the most, but then I discovered the third one. And the third one was a beautiful budget-friendly gem, not very well known. This is Escada Joyful. It's been a while since its release. Actually, I don't need to refresh it, I have it here. It's been a while since its release. Oh, here it is. And this one goes a little bit more toward floral soapy kind of fragrances. And again, the apples are not necessarily even given to us by the marketing description, the pyramid. They mentioned all kinds of flowers, including all kinds of fruits like citruses and melons and this and this and that. Yet I most definitely feel the kind of the zesty, refreshing sourness of apples here. I don't even feel much of a melon or citrus. I do feel like this is beautiful, summery, juicy apple. So this I would call a most kind of, I don't want to say wearable, but this first of all is the most budget friendly. You can probably get Escada Joyful for $15, $20. It is something that you could buy for over $100 from Jo Malone and not even notice a difference. It's very much of that quality of kind of airy, full of light florals that are kind of fruity florals that are kind of seems like they constantly are reliving a new, like a rebirth in the olfactory community. Like we forget about them and then like there is a new line of Aqua Liguria or new Jo Malone, or you know, the old Jo Malone, and we just get, oh, this is so nice. When people get tired of all kinds of odd and twisted niche fragrances or heavy gourmands, these kind of fragrances, they keep making a comeback over and over and over. And it's so easier to forget what we already have and what we can buy just for like quarter of a penny, given all the new releases that, you know, the keep being pumped into the market. So I just wanted to remind you that if you're looking for a juicy apple, if you have nothing in your collection and you're kind of trying to navigate that surface and you like light, airy Jo Malone like florals, this is the cheapest Jo Malone probably you can get that still has quality designer blending, that has very beautiful packaging. Actually, I do enjoy the quality even of the plastic wrapping here on the lid. It's actually very all the edges here, the glass, the way that all the different parts are fit together on the lid, everything to me speaks designer quality, which I can't say about probably half of the designer fragrances these days in their packaging. So this is a well-kept secret of those who remember the old glorious days of Escada Perfumes. If I could only keep one, this is a hard one. But I just want to challenge myself a little bit and try to pick one. I would say that Haute Voltage is the longest lasting. It definitely has the most projection and the most niche twist to it. So I'm very tempted. At the same time, this is just so lovely and so cheap, so it's very easy for me to recommend it to you as like a budget-friendly gem. But it suffers from, it's like as charming as it is because it's so easy to understand. At the same time, it's minus. It suffers from a bit of kind of generalized feel about this fragrance. But I also suspect it's much easier and more pleasant to wear. That's something that, you know, you may fall in love with it, but if you don't, this fragrance will probably like smother you through the day. The I Am Trash is kind of like a happy medium. Like it's like an average of the two. It's very bright and a little bit sweeter than the other two in the opening. It has a little bit more of an interest, but I dare say Haute Voltage really beats I Am Trash when it comes to niche kind of quality and juxtaposition of notes. But again, then this is more wearable. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. Let me think about it. You know, as much as I am kind of drawn to choose like the better of both worlds, I think in this particular instance, when it comes to apples, it's actually generally my approach when it comes to fruits and perfume, something that I wear as a personal perfume. I don't like literal interpretations. Usually that just makes me think of, you know, like detergent or like a washing liquid, like, you know, dishwasher kind of liquid, or even like body sprays or deodorants. So I thought I would go for I Am Trash. First of all, it's a novelty factor and it redeemed itself to me through blind tasting. It's something that is super easy and pleasant to comprehend, like to feel around you. But if it really came down to the wire and I just wanted to have one imaginative apple scent, Haute Voltage. Even though it's supposed to be pomegranate and not apple, it does it for me, you know, like I'll call it a day, just like sure, when I'm in the mood for pomegranate, it's gonna be pomegranate. When I'm in the mood for like sour apple supercharged with metallic notes, I'll call it an apple. Yep. That, I didn't expect to make that decision, actually. I didn't. But this is the top for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know. Do you know of any other apple-centric type of fragrances? Do you enjoy that note in general? Do you enjoy fruit notes in general at the heart of a perfume? Do you prefer your fruity perfumes for summer, for vacation, or like does it really depend on the season? Tell me everything. I'll be waiting for your comments. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.